and so millennial reign of Christ and so forth.
Here's a quick outline of the book. Chapter 1 is an introduction and a vision of Jesus Christ the Lord. He's standing in the midst of 7 lampstands. He's holding 7 stars. The stars are the angels over the first main 7, which is the churches that John is writing to. And that's the first 7, these 7 churches. Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamum, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea. John writes to each of them a picture of Christ, a praise, a thing to work on, a warning, and a reward. Not all 7 have all of the pieces, but they all have the first one and the last one. That's the first 7. The book then breaks for a remarkable image of the throne room of God that echoes the visions from Isaiah and Ezekiel, with beautiful angels worshiping Christ while he stands at the center as both a lion and a lamb, at the bullseye of all praise and all history and all. Second and third 7s happen in chapters 6 through 7 and 8 through 9. John sees a scroll that only Jesus can open. It has 7 seals. The seals represent future occurrences, mostly judgments on the earth. The first 4 seals are judgments carried out by horses of different colors. The 5th seal is martyrs crying out. The 6th seal is an earthquake and darkness. The 7th is a half hour of silence and the beginning of the 7 trumpets. 7 trumpets are played by 7 angels for the future judgments on the earth, echoing the plagues of Egypt, but somehow even more horrifying. The first one is hail, fire, and blood, then a burning mountain, a star falling, which makes the water bitter, a third of the lights in the sky being darkened. 5th is a plague of locusts from hell. 6th is the release of 4 angels of death, and the 7th is voices, an earthquake, and hail. Both the 7 seals and the 7 bowls are John's vision from Jesus Christ of actual events that will actually happen in the future, which leads to the 4th 7, which happens from chapter 11 to chapter 15. 7 persons, and they represent the height of Satan's kingdom and dominion over the earth. First, God's 2 witnesses who are martyred. Second, the woman with a crown of 12 stars. That's Israel. Third, the dragon. That's Satan. Fourth, the child of the woman. That's Christ. The 5th, Michael the archangel. 6th, the beast. That's the Antichrist. And the 7th, the second beast. That forms like the 3rd member of the anti-Trinity. And then following this is the 5th 7 bowls, which in line with the 7 seals and 7 trumpets are increasingly destructive judgments on the earth. There's sores, bloody seas, bloody rivers, solar destruction, darkness, rivers drying up, and Babylon destroyed. It's pretty intense. Following this is the 6th 7, the 7 dooms, which are the climax of earth versus heaven, Satan versus God, the Philistines versus the Israelites, the people versus the prophets, the Jews versus Jesus, the enemy versus the church, the snake versus Eve. This is it. First, there is the harlot. Second, there is Babylon, the horrific city, the bride of the Antichrist. Third, there is a war. Fourth, there is the 1st and 2nd beasts. 5th, there's Gog and Magog, which is a reference from Ezekiel. 6th, there's the dragon again. And 7th, the great white throne judgment. Following this is the 7th 7, the end of the end, the completion of completion, the fulfillment of fulfillment, the consummation of existence. A new heaven, a new earth, a new Jerusalem, new nations, a new river, a new tree of life, and a new throne. The end of the book of Revelation forms a clear bookend to the whole Bible. It references a bunch of stuff from Genesis, kind of creating like a beginning and an end feel. The Holy of Holies is a miniature Eden. The river of Revelation references the Garden of Eden and the river that's there. It's the fulfillment of Eden. The first 2 chapters of the Bible and the last 2 chapters, the garden and the New Jerusalem, which is the new Garden of Eden, which has the tree and the garden and the temple in it. The Bible itself then shows the presence of God lost in the garden and regained in heaven. Revelation also shows Jesus Christ where he should be, on the throne. Chapters 1 through 4, Jesus is on the throne on earth. In 5 through 20, he's on the throne in heaven. In 21 and 22, Jesus is on the throne on the new earth.
This is a good time to take another look at the book of Revelation from another perspective.
All right, Jimmy,
another overview
what you just
hopefully
said,
will
let's bring it over
make
to the
this
book of
more clear.
Revelation. People that have just joined us this week, you got 3 pillars up here, the main points for the book of Revelation. You're putting all the chapters around these. What are these?
As we look at the 3 in front of me here, those would represent the 3 main events in the book of Revelation in the future. The first one, from your left to right, would be the rapture of the church. There's a space between that and the second pillar, which represents the second coming of Jesus Christ. That space between is a 7-year period of time, John, which is talked about as the terrible time of Jacob's trouble in the book of Jeremiah. But it's also the tribulation period. It's a time of judgment upon the earth. God gives Jesus Christ the title deed to the earth to bring the earth under submission and earth dwellers under submission during that period of time so he can come back and set up his kingdom, which is the space between the second and the third pillar. And that's a 1,000-year period of time, the millennial kingdom, followed by the great white throne judgment, at which time Jesus Christ will be the judge. He'll sentence those who have rejected him into the lake of fire, which is the second death, and then eternity future, new heaven, new earth, and New Jerusalem unfolds after that. So that's the walk through Revelation, basically using those 3 pillars and the 3 significant events in the book of Revelation.
This is one last short review of what the book of Revelation is about.